You know what time it is. You know what time it is.
How firm thy friendship. Oh,
you know what time it is. Raw with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lames. Buckeyes by a billion. We in the building with over 100,000. We represent from the uttermost to the public housing. And if we don't play, all wide receivers got your secondary shook, so they cook them like Bobby Flay. Hey, stay out of my way and trust me, cause I know it's OH. Somebody please give this brother an IO. Come on.
What up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boys, where we talk about college football with real fans. I'm Devin. That's Mello. And we are blessed yet again, man, with a very special guest with us tonight, Kayden Dixon Wyatt. Kayden, how you doing, brother?
Doing good, man. I'm doing good.
Yeah, it's pretty excited to get you on the show, man. Mello, how you doing, bro?
Man, great day. Great to have one of the top two wide receivers, him and Chris Henry Jr. in the country. One I can't wait to dive into and get to know him a little bit better.
Yeah, Kayden, just a little story for you. And I'm not trying to suck up here or anything, but like probably pushing a year ago, man, me and Mello were so crazy about recruiting that we did a 26 wide receiver show a while ago, and we watched a bunch of the film of a lot of receivers, and then we rated them, right? Like 1 through 10. And it was you and Chris Henry, man, at the top then. So because of that, I have to admit that I was like, dude, there's no way Ohio State can land the number 1 and number 2 receivers in the nation. But beyond thrilled, man, you guys are literally about to create history. Not just Ohio State college football. I'm a firm believer of that, but don't want to jump ahead, man. Let's start with the beginning, man. And let me just ask you, why football? When did it start? How young were you when you got into it, and just what made you fall in love with the game?
So I was about 4 years old when I first started playing football. I was actually doing football and basketball when I was younger. Uh, I always played those two sports, and a coach saw me because I was playing flag, and he asked my mom. He came up to my mom and asked me, did I want to try out for his football team? And then after that, it just hit the ground running.
So that's pretty interesting. So which one did you love first, or did you enjoy playing more, football or basketball?
I would say I feel like basketball was like more fun to me when I
Mhm.
was younger, but now obviously football.
Yeah.
Basketball was my sport growing up, man. The whole time I loved basketball. Wanted to play in the NBA. Wanted to do the whole thing. I just didn't grow tall enough, man. It just didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? But that's pretty cool, man. You see that a lot in wide receivers, actually. The football players in general, but definitely wide receivers. The basketball aspect of it, with the agility, the feet movement, the whole 9 yards, tend to go hand in hand a lot. So when you started playing football, was it always wide receiver? Or I'm guessing you've probably played a few positions in your day.
Yeah, so I grew up playing quarterback, and then from there I played corner, and just recent like eighth grade I started playing wide receiver, and then after that it was all wide receiver. So yeah.
Man, that's
Gotcha.
impressive. You became that good in just that short amount of time. You must be an extraordinary athlete. So playing cornerback, did that help you in terms of transitioning to wide receiver and just the thought process of how a corner thinks? Did that help you become a better wide receiver?
Yeah, I feel like that helped me because I know my instincts when I'm a corner, and I know when like kind of when receivers were going to break and things like that. So that kind of helped me like fill out things, and yeah.
So being a kid, man, I grew up on a farm, so I was always outside doing something outside with my friends, hunting, fishing, or something. So just for Buckeye Nation, man, fill us in, man. What kind of man are you? What kind of person are you? What do you like to do? What are your hobbies that you enjoy besides football?
I feel like I'm a real quiet person, but if I do go out, it's probably with my best friend. Uh, Out here in the Bay Area, I really get to hang out with him, and And then when I'm in LA, I get to hang out with like my school friends. But other than that, I'm probably like the chillest person, just being in the house, gaming, talking to my friends and things like that.
So, what is the biggest difference? This isn't a football related question, but what's the biggest difference between the Bay Area and LA, if you had to say?
The biggest difference I would say is just how small the Bay Area is. Like it's pretty smaller compared to LA. Like LA is more a city life and all out and stuff like that. I mean the Bay is more like kind of more rough in a way. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, Kayden, a lot of the time we hear a lot of recruits either their dad played football or they got an older brother or something that played football. Do you have any family members that got into football and that's kind of why you started it, or did you just want to go play sports and your mom just kind of put you in sports?
Yeah, so my mom played basketball, and then her dad played football. He made it to the NFL, MLB as well. He was a pretty good athlete. My dad also played football. So yeah, I mean that didn't make me play football, but I just grabbed a football and started liking sports. So yeah.
Yeah.
So, at what age, as you're going through the youth system and playing Pop Warner or whatever they call it out there, did you start realizing, like, man, I'm different? Like, I could really do this. I could take this and play at the next level.
I would probably say 12 years old. I always played up, so I was 12 playing 14U, and I knew I was hanging with guys doing better than guys. So it was always me going against all the other older guys and just kind of still dominating.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Was that around the time? I always get curious with recruits, man. Like, when did you start really training? Like you said, you didn't play wide receiver till what, the eighth grade or something like
Yeah.
that. So is that when you started? Did you start training like outside of football practice? At what age did you start doing that? Of doing drills outside of football practice and really like making this thing, part of your life?
Uh, to be honest, this is all natural. I haven't even started doing that yet.
Oh,
So everything you see is either I'm practicing it in my modern day practice or something like that. This is all natural.
Golly, bro.
man, I'm flabbergasted. I'm not even gonna lie. Hold on, I lost my train of thought because that's insane to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you normally hear some of these. We've interviewed, Jameer Brown and a lot of top end just football recruits in general, and you normally hearing about, that they got a trainer outside of their high school team or something. So extremely gifted man, dude. That's pretty awesome to hear. We also we talked to a lot of parents, and I love it. Like I said, I've had some conversations with your mom about you in particular, about your recruitment, different things like that. But what was your mom's reaction, man, when you got on the football? We hear all kinds of reactions. We hear my mom didn't want me to play football, or what was the reaction that she had when she knew that you just were in love with the game of football and this was going to be your future?
Yeah, I feel like she was all for it. She was full support, always been there for me and was always on my side of things like that. So yeah.
I just want to back up one moment and go back to when you were playing DB and now that you're playing wide receiver. So, if you had to pick, which one would you prefer? A pick six or a nasty route and a touchdown off of a route as a wide receiver?
I would for sure say pick six. I feel like that's more rare to have than someone just, breaking someone's ankles and go score. So I feel like pick six is
Yeah.
probably
Caden, there's a lot of different mentalities that football players can have, and I think depending on the position that you have, you talk to the trenches guys, they just want to just plow people over, plow through people, the whole 9 yards. So, what's your mentality when you're on the football field? What's kind of going through your head?
For me, I would say just try my best every single snap, knowing that I have to beat the guy in front of me every single snap because he's going to be trying to do the same thing. So yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys have three elite receivers on your team in terms of yourself, Chris Henry Jr., and Mark Bowman. I'm pretty sure you probably have a nasty running back out the backfield as well. So put yourself as the opposing DC. how do you scheme up game plan to beat Matter Day and contain that offense?
Okay, so this is what I would try to do, even though this is probably not gonna work. We're gonna win regardless. I would probably double me and Chris on the outside and use a safety to try to guard Mark. And I don't know how you would stop our run game after that. Like, I don't know. Like, it would just be too hard. And then we have a quarterback. He's the fastest guy in our league. So it's like,
Mm.
I don't know what you would do.
Golly, dude. Speaking of that, man, um, run us through a modern day, man. What is it like there? Like, first off, have you been there since the ninth grade? Was that the school you went to? All right,
Yeah.
man. So you gotta let people know on the outside, let the fans know. Like, run us through a day at modern day. Just give us some details that kind of let us know what it's like playing there. Because I've always heard that it resembles Ohio State a lot, and that's pretty wild to hear about a high school football team. So walk us through the day at modern day.
Yeah. So for me, I live in LA. So I would have to get up 5 a.m. in the morning, take the bus ride. Everyone gets on the bus. If you're from LA, we all meet at this one stop and we travel to the Orange County area to my school. We have weight room at 7:30, and then after weight room, we shower up, we go to class. We have our 3 classes for the day, and then after that, we have film. We have film after school, and then we have practice. So yeah, and then after practice, we go and then we get back on the bus for the people that have the bus and stuff like that. So yeah.
That is
Pretty
like a college
disciplined
schedule.
program. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is awesome to hear. So another question I have for you is what are some of your goals coming up for this upcoming season? Where would you like to improve and as an individual and as a team?
As a team, I would say we all just, everyone works together. Like our uh our last year team, it was a lot of me guys. And I just think if this team was just gonna put that aside and we all just work together, we're gonna win the national championship again. And then for myself, I would just say, being that leader that everyone could count on and just being more vocal and things like that. Like even though I'm a quiet person, I feel like my voice, because I'm one of the top guys on the team, just being that leader. So yeah.
That makes sense.
So let's dive into this, man. This might be one of the most intriguing things for me, at least, getting able to talk to you, man. And that's SFE, man. That's 7-on-7. I've read the backstory on it. I've had the opportunity to talk to Brett, over the phone. Sounds like an amazing guy. And you hear this national perspective of, how people value 7-on-7, and what this is turning into kind of a big deal, man. Especially SFE, right? The reigning national champs, if I'm correct, there. Pretty much win it every single year. What's that like, man? When did you start, and kind of let recruits know out there what is it that you learned in 7-on-7, and how valuable was it for you and your development to become the wide receiver you are now?
Yeah, I would say just it's valuable because you get to go against guys that you don't, you hear about, but you actually have to see it for yourself to get to see what type of player you are. There's a lot of high rated guys, and when you're going against them, that's really testing you and others. So I feel like that's beneficial for me and for them. And what else is beneficial is just going on these trips, getting your name out there, going to all these different states like Florida and all these other things. I mean, that's all just everything's just beneficial for that. Like you get to go up to college campuses and yeah.
Would you recommend 7-on-7 to players that aspire to be Division I athletes, play college football? Would you recommend going and trying to get on a team and to build up that your competitiveness and everything else that comes with that?
Yeah, I would for sure recommend that. I feel like if you want to take Division 1 football seriously, you go with a team that is trustworthy, great background, and they're gonna travel to the college campuses that you want to go to. So yeah.
So I got a two-parter real quick. The first part is seeing how you're such a elite player and you play a national schedule. between high school and 7-on-7 with SFE. Can you give me the 3 hardest DBs that you played against? The 3 best DBs that covered you or did the best job? That's the first question.
For me, I don't really know too many guys like outside of modern day.
Yeah.
So I could give you modern day guys like Xavier Brown. He's
Mhm.
at Alabama now. Chuck McDonald, he's going to Alabama now. And then Darius Dixon, he's at Penn State. So those 3 guys, like we compete every day. We got to compete every day in practice. Those 3
Mhm.
guys, that was just like top notch. So yeah.
That's good. And my second part, my friend just texted me, and I have to say he was my starting running back in high school in Jersey. His son is the starting middle linebacker at Milton, and he wanted to tell me like they wish they would have been able to play you because they finished second behind you guys last season. And he just said they wish they could have played you guys for the Natty.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that probably would be a good game. I know they have they had a good quarterback. I heard about him,
yeah,
and he's at Miami now, I think. So yeah,
right.
they have a good offense, I think, and that would just be a good game.
I don't know if they
Yeah.
would have been able to stop you though, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Hey, so let's dive into it, man. Let's talk about this recruiting thing. Obviously, college football recruiting in particular has changed, and the play on the field because of NIL, because of the transfer portal, because of social media and everything else. In-state kids are leaving states now. There's all kind of jumbled up mess in that, but with that, there's so many blessings, man. There's so many more opportunities for you players, and long time coming. Should have happened a while ago. You know what I mean? We can debate on how it should have happened all we want, but it's here. It's happening. So, when did recruitment start for you just in general? What was your first offer and when was it?
Recruitment started with me when I was in 7th grade. I got my first offer. FAU. I was playing on this 7-on-7 team, doing really well, and my coach, he kind of reached out to the guys like, "Are you like, you can't miss this? He's a young guy." Yeah, and I was doing really well. So yeah.
Nice.
And
Seventh
what was the
grade.
kind of feeling that you had when you got your first offer? Like, how did you feel inside?
I was super happy. Uh, I don't know. I was just like, no way, this is real. Like I was just hecka happy. So yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
So,
7th grade though.
yeah, that is pretty wild. Um, so we always hear about, in the recruiting process when we talk to parents, we do a pod with Daniel Sanchez, Duke Pettijohn, called Pop's Pod, where we dive into recruiting and stuff. And one of the things that they say is most important is the support group around you. So can you kind of tell us about that support group you've been surrounded with? I know your mom is one of those people, maybe a trainer or somebody else in your life that has helped you with this recruiting process and guided you and kind of protected you from problems that could arise when you're being recruited at such a high level like you.
Yeah, so I would say it was my coach Steve, my uncle, and my mom. I mean, those two really helped me with everything. Steve was the one traveling with me because my mom was working, and yeah, it was just really them two.
Now, when you said it's your first offer, came FAU. Is that how you say it? Is it
Yeah,
FAU?
yeah, Florida
Yeah, that's
Atlantic.
what I thought. Yeah, I think I'm pretty close to him, but or I've been there before. What you ultimately you chose Ohio State, but can you kind of tell us what you were looking for when you were being recruited? What were the most important things to you to find, and kind of what were those like top 3 schools that you would say were after you the hardest during this process?
Yeah, so some things I was looking for was a good relationship with the coach, and when I go up to the campus, can I get a good vibe around the guys I'm going to be around for 3 to 4 years? Um, I was looking for, just good schooling and good culture, something that I've come from with modern day. And top 3 teams that were probably after me was Oregon, obviously Ohio State, and like Texas was a big one too.
What do you want to do for school, academics wise? By the way, what's your interest for the future?
I'm probably gonna get into um business or like just like financing and things like that.
Nice.
Awesome. So last season, I'm sure you were following Ohio State pretty closely since they were recruiting you pretty hard. And you saw this revival and the spiritual movement going around through the team and spreading throughout the community and the campus. What was your thoughts about that, and how do you feel about coming into an environment like that?
Yeah, I think that's really cool. That's something that me as we're doing right now, modern day, we give out trees so for Christmas. So it's just like things like that, little things just to help others. I mean, I think that's really big and yeah, that's really cool.
So when did your relationship with Ohio State start? Like, do you remember the first person from Ohio State to reach out to you? Do you know when it was? And can you kind of walk us through the dynamic of how that relationship just kept growing and growing up to the point of committing to Ohio State?
Yeah, so it was my sophomore year. I got to talk to Brian Hartline when I came up. Um, and then after that, he kind of like gave me the scholarship, and then we hit the ground running after that. I got to talk to tight end coaches, defensive coaches, and then every single time I went up there, it was just really good. So yeah.
So I have a question. So we see all these recruiting services, right? They're talking about specifically with in terms of you and Chris Henry Jr. About you guys shutting down your recruitments and saying that it's because Ohio State and Coach Hartline are unfair that you guys are going to flip to Oregon. So he kind of like forced you guys to shut down the recruitment. Is there any truth to that?
No, not at all. I think that's just me and Chris letting everyone know that we're locked in and we stand on what we said. Like we're here to be a Buckeye. There's no switching up. Like that one saying, if we're locked in, ain't no switching up. So I mean, like, there's nothing that we could really. I don't know where that rumor came from, but yeah,
I could
just
tell you
letting
if you
people
want me
know we're locked in.
to.
Yeah. So this is just an in general question. I'm not trying to put any pressure on you or anything, but so as an Ohio State fan, right, I get called a homer a lot, and I think this is the least homer thing now at this point in time, especially seeing Emeka Buka. He was the number 2 receiver on the team, went in the first round draft, but in Ohio State fans' eyes, and I think a lot of people around the country are kind of seeing this now too. If you are an elite wide receiver and you have and Ohio State is after you and you have aspirations of playing in the NFL, Ohio State seems like the clear-cut number 1 spot that you should probably play, right? But the thing that comes up in the middle of that now is money. Just to put it out there, is nil money, right? And you see sometimes where if Ohio State is after a receiver and he goes somewhere else, a lot of people automatically assume money, right? I don't want to get into that. Everybody has their own situation, their own way of thinking. They're free to make that choice. That could be the better choice for them. We'll never know. But for you as an elite wide receiver, how do you handle that at your age, man? How do you handle that potentially getting a higher offer for money somewhere, but having the maturity, right, to sit back and understand that, hey, man, if I go to Ohio State and I put my head down and focus, that stuff's coming. It's gonna come in the future. Now we know, man, Ohio State. If you put the product on the field, you're going to make more than enough money, man. Columbus has a very, high growing, business and the whole nine. You watch Jeremiah Smith and, he's probably sitting pretty comfortable, but walk us through that, man, as a teenager and kind of speak to other recruits out there that might be in the same situation of, hey, what do I do here? I really feel like if I go to this school, I'll be developed better, right? But this school is offering me more. Can you kind of speak to that, man?
Yeah, I would just say try not to let the outside noise get to you. Put your faith in God because that's what I did.
Mm.
I really just sat down and really thought about like if I go to somewhere where they're paying me, giving me all this money, do I really even want to go there? Like, why do they think of me all like this? I mean, it's a lot of money, and yeah, I would just say just keep prayers because that's what I did. I got to talk to my family and things like that, so it was just good. So yeah.
So
It's
piggybacking off
awesome to
of
hear, man.
what Dev just asked you about the draft. So we watched Mecca as the number 2 wide receiver become a top 20 draft pick. Did that have any effect on your decision making process in choosing Ohio State, seeing that and then seeing the history and the lineage before him?
I wouldn't say Emeka in general. I feel like I was pretty sure on me wanting to go to Ohio State in general, but
Mhm.
yeah, like the background of the history, I would say yeah, but not just Emeka in general. I feel like I was like pretty locked in with Ohio State in general.
Yeah, so I know there might be some, obvious answers to this question, but I would really like to know, man, like ultimately, maybe your top three reasons, honestly, like why you chose Ohio State. I mean, I could probably answer this for you. There's those obvious answers out there, NFL development, all that stuff, and those might be your answers, but man, down at the heart of it, down at the true spiritual decision that you made there, why Ohio State?
For me, it was the relationship with Heartline. I really had a good relationship with him, and just knowing he's going to be the offensive coordinator is just like another big boost to like my trust in him because he's going to get the receivers the ball like no matter what. They were already getting the ball, but now that he's the OC, I mean, it just makes it more important and things like that. I feel like I fell in love with the guys around, like just being around in the culture, like it doesn't get any better. I went to probably every school I've been to all around the country, like just getting around guys like that. And the wide receiver room is just it's just different. Like getting around guys like Jeremiah Smith, and just learning and picking his brain is just gonna be incredible. So yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely, I agree. I agree 100%. So we all saw a viral picture and a clip. So I just asked them both at the same time, where it was you, Chris Henry, a whole bunch of current Buckeyes out there training in California. What was that experience like, and what does that speak to the culture and brotherhood of Ohio State?
Yeah, so that just tells you right there, like it's off season, we're still working. Like it doesn't matter where we are. I mean, California is pretty far from Columbus, and we're all
Yeah.
together working. So I mean, it's just like the dedication and things like that, and the brotherhood that really shows why they're that good. So yeah.
And what does it say that they brought two high school kids that are committed? And I mean, we know that you guys are solidly locked in, but there's a lot of times that commits flip. We experienced that last season with Naeem Alford. Um, for them to bring you in and invite you to that, like, how does that make you feel as a current commit? And we also saw a little video clip of Bi having a conversation to you. What were you guys speaking about, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah, so that just makes me feel like they're just welcoming me even more. They're just bringing me into the brotherhood, you know. And he was talking to me about route stems, and I was kind of picking his brain. I was asking him questions, and he was just telling me how Hart would probably want us to run it. So he was just telling me things like that. So yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
So take yourself back to before you committed to Ohio State, right? Because as Ohio State fans, like the national thing out there is you always hear the developed here, the brotherhood, right? We always hear about the brotherhood. And sometimes as a fan, when you don't have that inside information, you can't see there, you can't experience it, you wonder how true that statement is. So let's go with like maybe your first two times you ever visited Ohio State. Can you walk us through like the aura or that feeling that you got when you were in there in the Woody, walking around with these players and stuff, just in your own words? What does it feel like being around that Ohio State football program?
Yeah, so I mean, it felt really good. It actually just, to be honest, it really felt like modern day. Just being there, seeing guys how they talk to their guys, just being around their guys, and then I was getting to hang around the receivers. It kind of reminded me of modern day. I mean, everything kind of step by step kind of reminded me of modern day. So it was just what can I say? It was like refreshing to be around something that I'm already used to.
Right.
Nice.
And have you witnessed the practice yet at Ohio State?
Yeah.
And what are your thoughts on it? Is it very competitive? What are your thoughts in comparison to other schools and their practices?
Yeah, I'll say it's very competitive. I pay attention to the defense more than offense. Sometimes they get a lot they get a lot of rah-rah talking, and I kind of like that. So it just pushes us to, or me, I should say, to get better and do better because I mean I gotta back up. I gotta back it up if they're talking. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So two-parter here. Number one, are there any recruits nationally? We know you got Mark Bowen right on there, probably a Georgia lean right now. But are there any recruits that you are currently recruiting to the Buckeyes right now?
Yeah. I would say Tyler Atkinson, him, linebacker, Sean Scott, he's a USC commit, but I'm still kind of recruiting him. And then obviously Mark Bowman. I mean, I talk to him about it almost every day. So yeah.
Yeah,
That would be the most just I'm sure you're already aware, but that would be the most insane haul ever.
Yeah.
You, Chris Henry, and Mark, that would be absolutely ridiculous. Mark is talked about as like one of the best tight ends to come through football in quite some time. So that is pretty high praise. And then my next thing is any players on the roster right now at Ohio State that you're pretty close with, that you've developed good relationships with?
Yeah, I would say JJ, that kind of pipeline through SFE, getting to talk to him and Philip Bell, he's a California kid. We kind of grew
Yep.
up together. I've been knowing him for some time well. And then I'll say Devin Sanchez, I got to play with him, SFE as well. He was on my team last year when we won the national championship. So yeah.
a lot of elite kids, man. A lot of elite kids. I think did we just offer Philip Bell's quarterback from Mission Viejo?
I don't think we offered him, but I think he's doing the OV.
Okay.
He is.
All
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
that
and he
makes sense.
hasn't got offered yet. Ohio State said they wanted to see him come down in person, and if I had to put a guess out there, he's getting offered on his official visit, but
Yeah.
we'll see, man. So kind of wrapping up here, man. It's been about 30 minutes, a pretty awesome 30 minutes, I might add. But you decide to go to Ohio State. You decided to go into a room that is packed, loaded with talent. So you could go to any school in the nation and probably start immediately. You're probably better than most receivers in college football right now. I'm not trying to blow your head up, sorry, but so what does that mean to you? Why would you go to a room that is packed with the best in the nation?
I feel like getting around guys like that are the best in the nation, it kind of just pushes you to a different level. It always makes you work extra hard. This guy on the side of you is gonna go hard, so you gotta go 10 times harder to try to outwork this guy, and that's only gonna make you better. I feel like if you go to a place where you're handed to you, it's not gonna make you better. It's just you're just going there saying like, oh yeah, I'm already that dude. So it's like I don't really need to work. But if you go into a room like this, it's like, yeah, I gotta work because the guy next to me, he's working. So yeah.
So explain us your mentality and your expectations, right? You show up to Ohio State, early enrollee, I'm assuming. Boom. What's your expectations, man, for that first year in the program?
I expect to just get better, development wise, stronger, faster, all the above, and really elevate my game to be smarter throughout football and things like that. So yeah.
Nice.
And my only question, really, my last question is I live about 2 miles from Grayson High School where Tyler Atkinson plays. So if I happen to run into him, can I be like, yo, my boy Kayden Dixon White, I just interviewed him. He said we need you up in Columbus. Are you cool with that?
Yeah, I'm super cool with that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I'm on his neck.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to end it with this, man. You're going from California, right, to Columbus, right? A little bit of change and maybe a few things. So have you been around Columbus, found any good food spots yet or anything? And if you have or have not, I guess a two-parter, man. What's that go-to food, man? What's the either food place you're going to or meal that you just got to have it?
Yeah, I've been around the town. I forget the place what it's called, but I know it's really good. It's on like I forgot what the street name is called. And
Hyde
I know
Park.
it's popular. I know it's
High Street?
popular. Yeah, High Street. It's this
Yeah.
food place. I forgot what it's called though, but it's nice.
It's not called Roosters, though, right?
I don't think so. No.
That's an inside joke, man. We had, I think it might have been Devin Sanchez was on an interview one time, and Roosters is like they support a lot of Ohio State YouTube channels. And he like straight up was like, dude, Roosters was nasty. I'm never going back
He
there.
just doubled down on that. Recently, they asked him about his food choice with one of his friends that has a podcast from high school, and he was like, they were asking about food up there. He's like, don't ever go to Roosters, the worst food,
Oh,
most
man.
trash food
Just
ever.
wild, bro.
That's messed
I
up.
love it. What's that go-to meal though, man? What do you got to have, man? Is you know, what is it?
For me, I would say chicken Alfredo. That's really good to me. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Nice. Mello, you got any final thoughts, any final questions, anything like that?
Welcome to Buckeye Nation. We're happy to have you, man, and we can't wait to watch you do special things, break some records, go out here and break some ankles, and score a whole bunch of touchdowns and becoming part of Zone 6. We appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, man, appreciate you coming on. I'll be at the SFE reunion dinner here coming up, so hopefully I get to meet you in person there. That'd be pretty cool if you're going to be there. But I'm pumped, man, to see what Lord's got in store for you. Seems like you're surrounded by some amazing people, good head on your shoulders. I did not have a head on my shoulders like that at that age. I wish I would have. But, man, God's got some pretty amazing things in store for you. So we appreciate you coming on, taking time out of your day. You got anything to tell Buckeye Nation? You want to let them know what kind of player is about to walk in here, anything like that? Anything to say to Buckeye Nation before we get out of here?
Yeah, I'll say I'm a really good person. Not only just a really good player, just a really good person. And you're just gonna be getting a really good player and really good person. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Absolutely.
Amen. Well, there's a short little video. When I hit end, it's going to play. When it's done, man, we'll pull you back up here and say our goodbyes. But on that note, we appreciate you for joining us. We appreciate everybody that watched this video. Go Buckeyes. OH.
Ayo.